Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It's the DevasiaMentality here, and I figured since I'm probably not going to get anything done for a bit, I might as well fill the dead air and dead space with my thoughts on the recent Transformers Robots in Disguise series. A series which is meant to follow up on the Transformers Prime timeline from where it left off on the Hub Network, by following the character of Bumblebee, who is now leading his own team of Autobots in Optimus Prime's absence, to capture a bunch of Decepticons who were a bunch of prisoners aboard a ship that crashed on Earth. How coincidental! I've actually not been following the show as each individual episode has come out. I've only decided to just start getting caught up with them this past week. And I can't say many positive or outright negative things about it. I could probably say more negative things than I could positive about it. I can say that the show has its quirks, but its plot building tends to be... And to me, it is probably the worst show in terms of plot building, short of the Unicron trilogy, specifically like Transformers Energon, and that is saying something because Transformers Energon is abysmal. Transformers Energon is only worse because there's just no thought, no reason, or rhyme behind any of it. This one has rhyme, reason, but it just... I feel like a lot of what I watched the show, there's just no plot build-up, at all. It's just like anything that needs to get brought up is brought up when it is, and everything else is just an afterthought. And I don't know what else to say about it. It's just not... I didn't have high hopes for this show anyway, but having come in and watched it all the way through to the final episode as of current, I'm not impressed. I'm just not. I still think that Transformers Prime, which even I was a detractor of that series, if you remember, but my main issues with it were they pulled the Unicron card too early and too awkwardly. And speaking of, they kind of follow up on that in this series, at the very end, all at once. It's just there's no lead up to it at all, which is, again, my problem. There's no plot building. It's just you get from one episode to another and something new is happening. It's just even though the series started with Optimus Prime warning Bumblebee of some looming threat on the horizon, you get absolutely zero hint of that up until the last cluster of episodes, and even then, I don't know. It just, the last episode reveals basically everything, and nothing was foreshadowed. It's just suddenly the big bad is here. He's just laid out his plan for everyone to hear just now. And then the good guys suddenly come up with their own plot device to deal with them, and voila. I'm not impressed by the show. I swear, it's probably one of the weakest Transformers shows I've watched, and I've watched a lot, I can tell you that much, outside of some Japanese exclusive series, or the Japanese versions of some American series, but I think I would probably murder myself if I did that. And from what I've heard, the Japanese version of this series is actually played more straight than previous dubs of American shows have been. So I might have been better off watching that version. Who knows? But as it is, from the American version, it's just so bleh. This is probably the first Transformers show that I would probably buy just so that I have something to put me to sleep. I am dead serious. This show is that boring and predictable. That is just my overarching thoughts on the series. And, I would go into detail, but I'm not sure I care to. at this point. It is so bleh. Among all the Transformers things I'm going to be getting into, I have no desire to follow up on Robots in Disguise unless the second season is significant step up from the first. And that's not hard to do. I mean, Beast Wars did that with its second season, but even the first season had more plot building than this one did. Everything's just sort of incidental. I mean, some things from previous episodes get brought up, and that the way they get brought up just sort of strikes me as, oh, remember this thing that we did? As opposed to any sort of plot building elements. It doesn't really work. But either way, it just, I don't know how else to say it other than it feels extremely weak, extremely dull, and I'm falling asleep just trying to get any more said about it. It's going to be a dull me talking about something, and probably one of the dullest ever because the subject matter is dull. I believe it is dull. The dull is infecting my mind. That's how dull Robots in Disguise 2015 is to me. And it's frustrating because this is supposed to be the sequel series, the ever-glorious Transformers Prime, which, yeah, I'm suddenly deciding I like a lot better than I did, but only because I realize where my main problems with the series lie is one plot element, and everything else is just a lot better than I might have given credit for. But that's just me. And again, I don't even know where I was trying to go with this. So I'm done. I'm done already. I have nothing more to say about Transformers Robots in Disguise 2015. It's just... So I'll see you next time. I don't even know why I did this, apart from to tell everybody I don't care. I tried to care. And the more I tried, the less I cared. That's how bleh. It's just so bleh. Bleh, bleh. Bye.